Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center, it's the Nebraska Athletics AD Show with Troy Dannon.
Infield and outfield straight up. Plumlee comes set on course at 2-1. Fastball is drilled in the air. Deep left field. There it goes. See ya! First career home run for Jeter Worthley. Comes in a massive moment. It's 2-0 Big Red. Timmerman's 1-2. Swinging a ground ball. Snared by Timmerman to second for one. Carries turn to first. One hop. Picked by Sanderson. Stays on the bag. 1-6-3. Getting over.
Now the 2-2 on the way. Frahm swings and drives this one to center. Bennett going back to the wall. It's gone! Home run, Jordy Frahm! A 3-run shot. 10-0 Nebraska.
Now, here's your host, Kyle Crooks, on the Huskers Radio Network.
All right, welcome in the Nebraska Athletics AD Show presented by Woodhouse, our monthly check-in with the AD of the Huskers, Troy Dannon. I'm Kyle Crooks. Happy that you can join us here tonight. Troy, boy, this is probably the busiest show we've ever had. This is the first time I had to sit down and truly make a list of everything that we have to touch on. Starting with the Big Red rebuild, we have Courtney Gaucher, who's Senior Associate AD of Capital Planning. He's a huge part of the process. We'll get his thoughts coming up in segment 2. But have you gotten any sleep lately, Troy?
Well, April is the busiest month of the year. A lot of our winter sport championships winding down, in the last month for the outdoor sports and just kind of starting to close out the school year. We had Night at the Lead on Monday night, celebrating the achievements of our group. So it's a busy time. This year there's some extra things, some one-time things with the rollout of the stadium, obviously Zach Bryan. So no, there hasn't been a lot of sleep, but I think everybody's got a lot of adrenaline in their system. It's been a good month for us. And
we'll get into the nitty-gritty of everything in segment 2 with Courtney, but just your overarching thoughts. You had the press conference on Friday, the announcement and passing through the Board of Regents that this is going to happen, and the full renovation will be done hopefully by the 2028 season. But your excitement, because I know the first week on the job, right, this was kind of thrown at you, the stadium. This has always been #1 on your list, and you've been a huge champion of this has to get done. And here we are, a lot of hard work later, and you're at this point.
Well, and I think I inherited, I think, a pretty good project. And then it was just making sure that we had everything taken care of because we were going to get one bite of the apple. And there's always angst when you have to go to the board with a project like this. We thought we had the votes. I'm not sure I expected 8-0 from the board, but to get that behind us and actually get going, we've been working on this a long time. And to know that we can actually finally start that process and maybe, turn our attention to the next thing, because there's always a next thing.
And, just the impact of not just the athletic department, right? Because this now, it becomes an engine, a financial engine, 365 days out of the year, as opposed to maybe just a football season, but for the entire city of Lincoln and for the state, and what this means, not just for us in this department, but for everybody in this state.
Well, and that's the privilege of having a building that may be the most important state building. The challenge that goes along with that privilege, though, is you have to maintain upkeep, and you don't get state appropriations for buildings that generate revenue like this. So it's it's part of the responsibility we have as a department and as a university to make sure this building's protected. And then as you look ahead, it's a different world today than it was even when the tower was built, or in the 60s, right, when the South End was built. And so it has to be renovated, modernized with whatever the future, as best you can anticipate it, has in mind. So while a lot of people are comfortable, I like my game day experience, I like what I know, and I'm scared of what I don't know. Fact of the matter is, our building's just different than most buildings. We need to modernize it. We need to make sure that people still want to keep coming. We need to make sure that it's ready for, and we learned a lot of lessons from Zach Bryan about maybe where the inadequacies are, that other things that we need to address in this process. So it's a great opportunity. It's over $1 billion of economic impact to the state of Nebraska just in building this thing. And those are you don't do it because of that, but it's over 7,000 jobs. And the athletic department itself has nearly a $700 million annual economic impact. and add what we can do now on a consistent basis with other events. You know, what this can do for the community in helping the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, but the entire state of Nebraska grow financially. You know, it's not a side benefit, but it's a benefit that we thought along the way that we have to keep in mind. It's bigger than just what can we do for ourselves.
You know, it's in a lot of these projects, and you hear around the country is, capacity is going to be incredibly affected, and what's going to happen in my seat, this, that, and the other. And I think what's good about this project is the capacity in the end is only going to go down 5,000, right? And one thing you said in your press conference that I think resonated with me, and you have a good pulse of the people, is that you want this to be affordable for the every fan. Sometimes when you have the new renovations, it's just like, I'm going to be priced out. There's no way I can get in the stadium. But you made a point to say, like, I want that Husker fan. I want this experience to be affordable for them moving forward and have a much better experience.
Well, while we want to have a lot of the NFL stadium amenities, NFL stadiums are built on corporate seat holders. And that's why they're just in the major metropolitan hubs for the most part of the United States. We don't have that here. So while we want the amenities, we still have to do it in a way that everybody that's coming to the stadium today can still come tomorrow. You know, starting with the fact that we wanted to make sure from an affordability standpoint, the most affordable seats in the building are still there, and maybe even more affordable moving forward. And I think as we have more premium areas and we can tier things, it justifies why maybe the upper east in the corners, or maybe the far north, maybe why those ticket prices will actually regress and go back, because as you start to compare it to everything else in the stadium, there is going to be a much bigger difference in those seats than there is today.
Yeah. And, you know, you look at a lot of people, the biggest question that we get on Sports Nightly, and I'm sure one of the questions that you got, and you touched on this a little bit in your press conference, $600 million project, why can't we just use this to pay the players, right? It's something, and it's apples and oranges, but fans sometimes they need to get the understanding of why it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, you know, after the House settlement, what was going on with NIL, if you will, was a lot of folks were donating money, and it went to 1890, and 1890 would do these broad NIL deals really without a quid pro quo. You know, sometimes you did autographs and you might have got paid a lot of money for an autograph, that type of thing. But after the House settlement, starting July 1 of 25, those things could no longer happen. Now, to get above the cap, you know, there's two terms we've got to get used to. One is the rev share cap, and that is the post-House settlement. That's the $20 million that the department's allowed to pay directly to athletes. But anything above that, that comes from what I would say are bona fide NIL deals, being bona fide deals where the athlete and a company come together, and you're going to promote or do X, Y, and Z for the company. They're going to pay you ABC for that. And so as you get above the cap, we're thinking more in terms of how do we partner our athletes and facilitate our athletes having deals with every company known to man, both in the state of Nebraska and outside the state of Nebraska. At the same time, you know, as we grow the amount of revenue that the stadium produces and it creates margin in our budget, I will tell you that we're not done changing NIL rules and above the cap rules and rev share rules. And as we prepare for a year, 2, 3 years down the line, while today we're out beating the bushes to make sure we get those partner deals done, we need to prepare for a world where theoretically, what if the rev share cap goes from 20 to unlimited or somewhere in between? How do we fund that out of the department? And even in the case right now of corporate deals, you know, would I rather have company A have a deal with me or with an athlete? Well, if I would rather have them have a deal with an athlete, how do I generate enough funds in order to operate the business without that company being alongside me? And so a lot of what we're doing now is telling companies, I would rather have you do a deal with this athlete or that athlete rather than do it with me. Meanwhile, I use whatever means I have to generate revenue in order to make up that difference, if that makes sense. So, you know, as important as the stadium is, the most important thing for us moving forward is whatever the player compensation model is, we have to be prepared to, and I think I used the term in the press conference, have every bullet in our coach's holster, Matt's, Fred's, Amy's, Danny's, and so every bullet in the holster to be able to compete financially as we compete X and O wise, facility wise, nutrition wise with everybody. That is still the most important thing. The stadium, I think, is a conduit to get that done. But at the same time, take NIL out of this. The stadium still has to be repaired. It still has to be modernized. So they are two separate things, but there is a lot of interconnectivity along the way.
Yeah. And, switching subjects, we'll get into more of that in segment 2 with Courtney Gaucher. But Rhonda, Revelle, you were out at Bowlin Stadium, another sweep for them. What a season they've had. But renaming the field at Bowlin Stadium after the legendary Rhonda Revelle, 34th year as head coach. Again, the impact she's had on generations of athletes, an all-time team. What a season to do it amidst the senior day festivities. What did that mean for you to be there?
Well, one, it was rather extraordinary because while we've named things for our coaches over time, we've never done it for an active coach. And I think that tells you how Rhonda's revered from the Board of Regents level all the way down through the department. But it was neat to do in large part because she was surprised. If you know Rhonda, if I'd have gone to her and said, hey, we want to name the field after you, she'd have said, you can't. No, I don't want to do it. And so to be able to do it by surprise. And, initially we wanted to do it the day after senior day and not take away from the seniors. But honestly, doing it after the seniors were able to be recognized, and given how this culture in this locker room works together and how fond I think the athletes are of Rhonda and vice versa, it worked out great. It was a great day to do it in front of a record crowd, to surprise her. It was pretty special. You don't get to do those things very often in my line of work. A lot more times you get the negative than you get the positive, but it's neat to see that. It's neat to see Rhonda's reaction because she's grace in class. And I will tell you the other thing she is. No matter whatever happens when things are down in the department, she is the first person that either sends the positive text, the positive outreach, or when we have a group meeting, she's just positivity. And you can't have enough of that.
Yeah, and it's so fun to see the success of the team this year and what the expectations are. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Courtney Gaucher, we dive more into the Big Red Rebuild next on the Huskers Radio Network.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
So I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
You expect your home to protect everything you love. But you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 GOAT modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer today.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Welcome back to the Nebraska Athletics AD Show presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Kyle Crooks, Troy Dannon, very special guest, Senior Associate AD of Capital Planning, Courtney Gaucher. You saw him at the press conference. We had a all-staff meeting last week, and you gave a great PowerPoint, a rundown of this entire project. You're going to be the point man for it all. So, Courtney, you've been at this for a bit here, getting ready for this to launch. But how does it feel now that this is officially off and running and we're getting set for this massive renovation?
You know, it's a very exciting time. One, just grateful for Troy to really entrust us with the leadership of this project because it's a monumental project for our athletic department, for our state, for our fans. And so we're really excited to now be public with it. The last year and a half has been really just a lot of behind-the-scenes detail work, just trying to look at everything from a holistic approach, from where people are sitting and to, where the steel's going to land from that perspective. So it's go time, but we're really excited about it.
What should the fans know? We mentioned a little bit about the timeline, right? So this is going to begin after the 2026 season. 27 capacity will be affected a little bit, and then 2028 it should be off and running for the start of the season. But what should fans know a little bit about what the timeline for construction even as we lead up to after this football season in 2026?
Absolutely. Well, for a lot of the fans, there's actually work happening as we speak. Mm-hmm. It's not very front-facing. It's really in the lower west stadium where our old academic and compliance offices were. That work will continue through football season. At the conclusion of football season, we will move very aggressively to essentially demo the South Stadium first, and then the West Bowl will come down. And so that will be the most visual thing that our fans will see. At that time, a number of parking lots, Lot 8, Lot 4, will certainly be impacted, and will kind of take a form of a construction site at that point.
When we look at the South Stadium and the demolition of that and a huge part of this project, what excites you the most about what you guys are going to be doing with that space?
I think really the most exciting piece from our lens is the fact that fans can get into the stadium accessibly. Access to restrooms and concessions. And if you've ever been down there on a game day, it is chaos, right? But again, it's part of the game day experience here. And we're just excited to be able to elevate that experience for all patrons of all ages, but just to make it more accessible.
And also in the South Stadium, and Troy, you guys have talked about this, but the students, it's going to be, I think, a better environment for the students, right? And so they'll be packed in essentially behind the field goal posts in South Stadium, correct? Kind of create that atmosphere.
Absolutely. You know, I think Troy said it's going to be hell to play into.
Yeah.
But it will be the most intimidating end zone in college football. And it was designed that way. Our students are amazing, and this is really an opportunity for them to really change the game every Saturday for us.
And when you look at the West Stadium, what can we expect of what you guys will be doing there?
Yeah, so, you know, we talk about the stratification of seating, right? And so there's going to be different price points for all folks, different access points for all folks, but essentially the ability to program the West in a way that's not just designated for football games on Saturdays, but for other opportunities, for weddings, for concerts, and the ability to walk along the main concourse but also have access to see into the field is really going to be dramatically different for our fan base. Right now, you've kind of got two levers of walls that certainly prohibit any views from the concourse. And so that's going to be the most dramatic change, but as you talk about the seating offering, it will be dramatically different.
I think the one thing about the West that will shake people most, all of the restrooms and concession stands are going to be pushed against the outer wall. So to Courtney's point, the inside will be wide open. The wall that's there, the old former exterior wall of the stadium will be gone. So there'll just be a wide berth to look into and really have the feels and noise of the stadium when you're walking along the concourse.
And you mentioned no more troughs, right? We're getting rid of the troughs. That was a big deal as well.
You know, that has been a topic of conversation the past couple weeks. But
now the reality of the troughs, and we haven't talked about this yet, but Courtney's working to find a company, and we think we have one that will repurpose a lot of memorabilia, if you will, from the old stadium. Now, the idea of reselling the troughs.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we auction that off? Who would buy that?
They will be available in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
I don't know what industrial cleaning we have to do to actually be able to sell them, but you know, the idea is a lot of to salvage as much as we possibly can and let fans have a crack at it. And that's part of the demolition process.
Mm-hmm. And deferred maintenance has been a phrase that we've heard a lot. You're going to get set to drive into 100-year-old concrete, right? And Troy said you never know what's going to be on the other side of that concrete. How could that change? Do you expect to have variables that can change a timeline or a price on a project based on what we don't know?
You know, here's what I'll say. I think we've taken the last year and a half, and again, kudos to Troy for really pausing the previous project and really reevaluating it. And that's really informed us of a lot of things. I got here a year and a half ago, and my primary focus was to understand this building, why we did what we did in the past, how we did it, and to understand if it's working or not. And so we spent the last year and a half really looking at everything from concrete to steel to mechanical systems, utilities. And we found a lot. There's a original 103-year-old sewer line that runs right across the 50-yard line. Not a great place for it, and it's very shallow from that perspective. We actually even ran into some issues with replacing the turf last year with that. There's a gas line that runs right across the football stadium, and so there's just a number of things like that. We do have some structural concrete that's it's really unique how they built it 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. But obviously it's 100 years old, and the integrity of those things are just, we're challenging that. And so we're working through all those details. We feel really good about the plan that we have. Our architectural team and contractor in Kiewit, it couldn't have been a better team that was assembled to really do that. But some of the people that we brought in to really evaluate these things, we feel good about our plan, and we believe that we've codified just about everything. There may be a surprise or two, and there is on every project. We're running into the same things in some of our other projects around here right now. So we're ready for it. We're excited about it, and we think we've got a great plan.
I would add a couple of things. Like every project, there's always a contingency built in for the unexpected, and there is a significant contingency in the 8 figures that,
absolutely,
built into this that hopefully allows you to capture some of those things, and if not, it gives you other margin for error along the way. And the other part, and Courtney mentioned Kiewit and HDR. We really need to talk a lot about Nebraskans building this for Nebraskans. Kiewit's estimated, I think 75% of the companies and 95% of the labor force will be Nebraskans. Kiewit itself, 25 of their top people that will be involved in this project are Nebraska grads. We'll have 10 interns this summer that are UNL students, including 3 student athletes working on this project. So, the fact that this is being able to be done, and we have the expertise in the state, with a population of 2 million, but to have the expertise to both design and build this is quite remarkable.
And Nebraskans building it for Nebraskans, right, Courtney? And the question I see a lot, or the skepticism, is the timeline. It's an ambitious timeline, right? Start of the 2028 season. I think part of that, too, is that Nebraskans are building this for, there's kind of the fight to get it done on time. The thought that some people think this timeline is super quick. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job of again, studying our approach. There was a question I got at the press conference the other day. What schools did you go to? And we took a delegation of not only our architect team, our contractor, but one of the things that we've done that's not really public is we've stood up a new capital planning team internally. With Larry Maples and John Kelly and Colin Bailey, and those guys have got about $1 billion of combined capital project experience, including 3 football stadiums. And so to bring that level of expertise to the table so that we could talk sequencing, the methodology behind some of it, and then quite frankly, some of the things that we've done early works. Husker Vision, this radio station, used to be located in the West. On last year, we committed to moving that to get it out ahead of having to do that at a later date that conflicts with other construction. This is a fun fact. So our Wi-Fi and fiber network within the athletic campus here is larger than the UNO and University of Kearney's campuses combined. Wow. Right? And so a lot of that work has kind of preempted the press release, essentially. But doing those things early has really given us a great deal of confidence that the schedule that we've put together really aligns and really works. There's going to be 2 shifts working this thing. We're going to be flying steel by night and pouring concrete by day, and just working through that sequence for the next 32 months. And so we're really excited about it, but we have a great deal of confidence in the schedule.
Mm-hmm. And so the football is just a huge part of it, right? But we just finished up the track dedication the other day, and that brand new outdoor track. Yeah, the Devaney Center. We'll see if we can get an update on that. But there's a lot of things going on with facilities here.
Absolutely. We've, there's no rest for the weary from that perspective. But this is what we enjoy. We certainly enjoy doing that. And again, we talk about our capital planning team. One of the things that we've committed to, and really, I think, certainly helped the powers to be have a great deal of confidence in the stadium project and the schedule, is over the last year and a half, we've done Husker Vision, we've done the track. We're doing Devaney right now, and all of those projects have been delivered on time and on budget. That is a common theme, and certainly something that we heard from all of our stakeholders and stockholders related to Big Red B-Build was the confidence that we're going to be able to meet budget and do this on time. And so we feel really good about that. Our track record over the last year and a half certainly demonstrates it. But to your point, the track facility, it's a special facility. We're excited to host Big Tens here in a couple of weeks. But it was something that needed to be done, and we were able to get that done for our program. But 4,500 seats, areas for the team from that perspective, new sports medicine area. Half of the seats are covered from elements of the weather, but it is probably one of the premier facilities in college track.
Yeah, just put a little more pressure on Courtney. We're also doing about a $5.5 million rebuild of the baseball clubhouse when the season is over, and softball is getting about a $4 million rebuild of their clubhouse. So, when you total all this volume up, it's significant, and the fact that the first projects under Courtney's watch have run on time and on budget gave a lot of confidence when it does come time to go to the board or go to the president and say we need to knock all of these projects off and get caught up on some things. We haven't touched baseball since it opened, and those 2 programs deserve to have facilities that are state of the art, just like everybody else does. So there's a lot going on in the facilities and capital planning world right now.
Yeah, Courtney, you getting sleep nowadays?
It's the fun part of it, right? As soon as we get off the radio, I'm headed to go meet with the city to talk about some baseball and softball. But it's certainly fun times here in Lincoln, and again, when you spend time here, and people joke about There's no place like Nebraska. That's a serious statement. And there isn't a place like Nebraska. And that's why it's important for us to deliver projects like we do on time, on budget. And these are fun things for us, but they're tools for our coaches. You talk about the big picture, the success, and I think Troy used the analogy of a classroom, right? We build great engineering buildings and monuments for teachers and professors to teach in. These facilities are the monuments for our coaches to teach in and for our student athletes to get better. And those are the things that are going to lead to national championships and continued success for the department.
What do we always say? Troy, Nebraska is the standard, right? And everything in history and a lot of it's just this is the standard
by which everyone should measure themselves. And when you approach every day in that way, we'll talk a little bit later. I mean, competitively, this is as good a year as we've ever had, and academically as good a year as we've ever had. But when you approach it, just like these facilities will be as good as they've ever had, but we should be the standard bearer, and that's what the intent is behind everything we do.
Absolutely. Courtney, thanks so much for coming in. I know you're off to your next meeting, and we appreciate the time.
No doubt. Appreciate you guys having us. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of each other.
Yeah, that's right. He's the point man for the Big Red rebuild and, again, all the projects we have going on here at the University of Nebraska. Courtney Gaucher. We continue on the Nebraska Athletics AD show presented by Woodhouse right after this.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 GOAT modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer today.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store, only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Back on the Nebraska Athletics AD show with Troy Dana, presented by Woodhouse. I'm Kyle Crooks. That is Troy Dana. Great stuff with Courtney Gaucher in the last segment, breaking down the Big Red rebuild and everything that we have going on facilities-wise. But Troy, again, this has been a crazy couple of weeks for you, but the search for new women's gymnastics coaches was underway, and we did have the announcement that Nicole Jones is going to be the new leader of that program.
Nicole's Big Ten experience, been at Michigan State as an athlete and as a coach her entire career, understands everything in the league, what it takes to win this conference. I think knows Nebraska, because she's seen us along the way, but she's been assistant coach of the year, I think, 4 of the last 5 years. She's got a great staff plan, bringing one with her from Michigan State. Really impressed with her interview process. I mean, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. And, as an AD, you want to be pushed by your coaches. You don't want them to try to push through walls when you say, here's what we can do. But as I told Nicole in the interview process, we want to compete for the Big Ten championship. None of us coach gymnastics in the department. None of our staff does. Tell us what we need to do. That's a lot of our job, right? Is get stuff out of the way so the coaches can succeed. The coaches need to tell us what to get out of the way so that they need to succeed. And she had a really good plan and is already doing that. And I'm excited to get her here and on the ground. Gymnastics is in its transfer portal window right now. So seeing what she can get done on the roster at the same time.
But you look at athletics right now, Nebraska in its totality, it's in a really good spot in terms of the Director Cup standings, 8th, I think, currently in the Director Cup standings. When you look at just how good this department has been, men's, women's basketball, NCAA tournament, softball, baseball, and I can go down all the other different sports, it's in a really good spot.
Yeah, but the common thread in that is we have elite coaches here. And so part of it has been, I think the coaches do a really good job of telling us what they've needed. And so I think we've got things into their hands. And the other thing I think, and I talked to Jordy Monday night at the night at the lead and about just how her influence as a leader and as a, by golly, we're going to win. And don't be ashamed of saying we better win. Don't be ashamed of we want to do as good as we can, but, I want to graduate. Don't be ashamed of saying we're going to win at everything we do, academically, socially, and competitively. And Jordy just has this powerful mindset as a leader. And then, look to see Sam on men's basketball and what he brought as a leader, what I'm seeing out of Britt, and up and down the lineup across our sports. As good as our coaches are, you have to have student leadership, student-centric leadership inside your programs. And it's at a level this year that it hadn't been, at least in my previous couple of years. So you pull that together, and let's not underestimate what this fan base does for our programs and what the rising tide does to all ships. Rifles come from nowhere to the top 5 in the country this year. Men's gym 4th, but and wrestling, and staying there at the top in the top 3 this year. But the fan support is every place. Last Monday night at the night of the lead, Callan Hake, who's the leader of the student-athlete advisor committee, basically the student-athlete president, if you talked about, it doesn't matter if you go to Los Angeles or you go to Oklahoma City or wherever, you have a home field advantage every place you go when you're at Nebraska. And it's noticed, it's felt by the athletes. And if you talk about everything that has to go into the pot to stir it up, to produce success, competitive success, we've got it at Nebraska.
Yeah, me coming from somewhere else, I saw it at the Rose Bowl. I saw it at Maryland. I get to see these things for the first time with a blank slate. And you look at volleyball, right? The Lions at Chadron, they're finishing up their spring season. There's a reason why they're playing at Wrigley Field, and they're picked to play at Wrigley Field because the fans they'll bring along with them. But you look at volleyball and the excitement around them. You know, people saying that they have 2 different top 15 teams within one team. It's kind of crazy to watch.
Yeah, and you know what I think, and you know, I've been here 3 years, so I'm not trying to speak Nebraskan, but Nebraskans do expect the athletes and the coaches to represent them in a positive way, and I think that's the other thing you see. You know, Nebraskans embrace our programs because I think our athletes and our coaches embrace Nebraskans. And sometimes, especially, we're in this portal world, right, where some of it seems a little transactional, but you don't see much of that here. Mm-hmm. You know, we have kids go in the portal like every place else does, but not in numbers. And it feels like there's the ownership that we get from our fan base. I feel like our student athletes and our coaches return that.
Yeah, it's a special place for sure. We still have more to touch on here. One more segment coming up here with Troy Dannett on the Nebraska Athletics AD show, presented by Woodhouse. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Also, the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. One segment left with Troy. That's next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Applied Connective Technologies may be an award-winning IT company, but since day one, our passion, commitment, and top priority have always been about people. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, President of Applied Connective, helping Nebraska businesses and organizations to operate at their peak potential. We're proud to offer world-class support in the areas of managed IT and cybersecurity, phones, surveillance, door access control, cabling, audio, video, and more. To hear what customers say about working with us or for a free technology consultation, head to appliedconnective.com today.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Kyle Crooks and Troy Dannett back on the Nebraska Athletics AD show presented by Woodhouse. Big thanks to Courtney Gaucher for joining us in segment 2. Really great stuff on the Big Red rebuild. Did want to touch on this, Troy, because Zach Bryan was in town. The concert was here, and weather is what it is. It's an outdoor show in April, so that presents some of the challenges there. But your thoughts on how things went and some of the things maybe that you learned.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, if you watched Morgan Wallen at Alabama, it was played in a monsoon this year. And when you have these outdoor concerts, the tour itself plans for weather. It anticipates weather, and you hope you don't get it. And, of course, we haven't had rain all April here. But the farmers need the rain, so you take the rain. We had lightning, which kept people from coming in. I think the one thing, a lot of lessons we learned. The most pleasant surprise, we had 52,000 tickets out. 42,000 scanned. After a 4-hour delay, I was shocked that 80% of the people still came through the gates. we have to integrate into our stadium project better communications outside the stadium. You know, our fan base is used to, if there would be a delay with a Husker, no matter what the sport, they know how to get that information. This is not our fan base that comes to this. So we don't have any way to communicate outside. And I think that's the biggest lesson of all. We're lucky to have the Cook Pavilion and Hawks in order to put about 10,000 people into those two and just wait it out. The fans were awesome. I mean, everybody took it in stride. We didn't really have any issues. We really didn't have any issues once the concert started. I know once we did get going, I think 4.5 hours later, I got a note that said he was going to play extra and go till 1 a.m. And then storms came in again. Mm-hmm. But good show. I mean, it was a great show. And you know, and I'm not trying to invite emails, but you know, I get letters of complaint when the sun comes up in the east, and it was really minimal coming out of it. Most people, you know, rolled with the punches and accepted the weather. But lessons learned for the Savannah Bananas coming up in June, and from the Boys of Oklahoma coming up in August. Yeah, you still have a couple more events here at Memorial Stadium coming up. We did see this yesterday, NCAA, the 5-for-5 rule, eligibility rule. So your thoughts on that? It seems like it's getting even more traction. I know we've talked about it a couple times on this show. Yeah, it you know, running through the governance system of the NCAA is no easy task. And we also know that Congress and a lot of what it's talking about it has a similar 5-for-5 in any of the legislations coming. So I think most of us have anticipated it. The one thing that we learned from Charlie Baker, you know, it's not going to grandfather backwards, and there was no way it was ever going to, nor could it. But you know, I think we'll see some roster expansion above the numbers that we're allowed right now to make sure that the kids who are eligible for a fifth year, we don't eliminate the ability to bring freshmen in. I think that's an important thing, and I'm anticipating it take place next year and onward. You know, now these things, it's NCAA's tried to take a bite out of some apples like this, and lawyers get involved and fight for someone who's aggrieved, and sometimes that happens at the expense of a whole bunch of people that would be better by it. So I hope this is able to move forward and continue. This is a place of champions, and we've had Coach Chamelka in here a bunch. Asher Cohen, about as special as it gets, a national championship in rings, and the first, I believe, since Jim Hartung, the late, great Jim Hartung. That storyline in itself is amazing. But Asher was at the Night of the Lead Awards, of course, and just one of the real special student athletes on this campus. Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, our focus is on the TV sports, you know, what you see, but when knowing what that team went through and how they responded, you know, Jim was such a part of this, you know, much as I said Rhonda was Nebraska softball, Jim, you could argue is Nebraska gymnastics, and for him passing away at the beginning of the season, and you know, the athletes, you know, it was like a father to them, and he'd had health issues, but you know, to respond in the way they did, and when he stuck his landing the other night, and it was obvious he's going to win the championship, and you go back into the 1980s, and the last rings champion we had was Jim, and it was just how it all came full circle, and Asher's such an awesome kid. There's 3.97 grade point average, and you know, he's everything. If you could personify a student athlete, I mean, he's the one. And so it was really very neat to see that happen in the way it happened. Emmett Johnson drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, what's funny about that? Of all the teams he could have gone to, he goes to a team that he played in that stadium, right, to start his final year. He's got a chance to play with Patrick Mahomes. He's on a ready-made roster to potentially win a Super Bowl championship. Emmett is a tremendous representation, one of the best athletes I've ever had to cover in my time as a broadcaster. The representation of a Nebraska student athlete, if you could manufacture 1 million Emmett Johnsons, boy, you're in a good spot. So Emmett, about 4 weeks ago, unbeknownst to me, showed up at my 11-year-old son's flag football game. Wow. And just sat there, and he had one of our track athletes with him, and didn't go around, you know, waving and trying to be the celebrity, just wanted to come. My son had, you know, kind of been able to develop a relationship with him, which is a very neat thing. And afterwards, we were walking across the field. I said, just think a year ago today, you know, our fan base said we didn't have any running backs. You know, he hadn't really done much on the field yet, and here he was. I mean, we all thought he'd go beyond the 5th round. but how he developed himself, what he did in the offseason to commit physically to having an NFL physique, and then what he showed in the field last year. I mean, EJ did a great job with him, but, you know, he's also self-made. You know, he decided he was going to turn into something and made it happen. And just a great person. And we're going to be proud of watching him. He's somebody we're always going to point to and say he's ours. A lot of us are going to find our way to a Chiefs game, even though we might not have in the past, because we want to see him.
You know, when you mentioned just being at the Night at the Elite Awards ceremony, how often do you have student athletes give feedback to you? And I'm sure that's an important aspect of your job, right? The connection that you have with the student athletes, making sure their experience is top notch in the country. You can have all these facilities and things, but yeah, I'm sure you want to get to know these student athletes on a personal basis.
Yeah, and it's hard. You know, we have 515 or so student athletes, and, you know, most of us will never know everybody's name. You know, you see them by face, and you try to get to know as many of them as you can. Every year at the conclusion of a season, we survey everybody in every sport to learn about their experience, what's good, what's bad. And that, a lot of the reasons why things change and get modified is because of that input that you do hear from the student athletes. And you know, they're particularly thoughtful here. You know, I'm just starting my 20th year as a Division I AD, and the responses and the comments you get from them, they really are thinking about their experience, and they really are proud of their experience in so many ways. But like anything, you know, when something's not going right, you hear about it. When something's going right, sometimes you don't hear about it. But I think what our athletes do a good job of is identifying what's going right so we can double down on that for the athletes that follow in their footsteps.
We have about a minute left, but the pride I'm sure that you have in your staff here with what has been going on the last couple weeks, you're front-facing, Courtney's front-facing, but the amount of people that are behind the scenes that are working a lot of hours, I'm sure you have a lot of pride there.
Yeah, and that goes way understated about how good the team is here. And sometimes you hate to start bragging about your team because it sounds like you're taking the focus away from the athletes. But what's happened in the last month in this whole stadium rollout, we had 60 people involved in one way or another in getting the stadium to the finish line, the first finish line that it had to get across. And you know, there are, you know, the leadership team here, I feel, is extraordinary. But everybody, because no one thinks of this as a job, and everybody cares about the outcome. It's not like that every place. A lot of places, there's just transactional things you have to do. The ownership, I think our staff has, and we have a lot of staff that are Nebraska grads, a lot that have been here a long time, but their commitment to everything good about this university, I will tell you, and I know we're probably going to run over time here, but what's really important is negativity has no place inside of an athletic department. The place for negativity is on a message board, and where nobody pays attention to it. But we have to be positive. And if you're not positive, even in down times, this is not the place to be. And I would tell you, you know, a lot of the people that are here right now, the 300 people, endlessly positive. I talked about Rhonda earlier, but endlessly positive. When things go bad, we don't jump out, we don't go negative. We say, oh my God, this will never happen. Oh my God, this is the reason 15 years worth of blank, blank, blank. And you have to have positivity. And part of the culture in elevating the culture for the athletes and the coaches is they have to feel positivity, and there can't be a constant negative influence. And if all you bring is negativity, there's lots of other places to go work. So really proud of how positive our group is day in and day out.
Troy, thanks so much. Always good to see you. Troy Dannon, appreciate Courtney Gaucher, Camden's work on the show. I'm Kyle Crooks. This has been the AD Show on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 GOAT modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer today.
Good evening. I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Nebraska track and field program earned 2 Big Ten weekly honors on Wednesday. Berlin Schutz was named Women's Track Athlete of the Week, while Henku Lamberts earned Men's Freshman of the Week accolades. Schutz won the mile race at the Drake Relays with the 3rd best time in NCAA outdoor history, and Lamberts won his shot put flight at the Drake Relays with a personal best mark of 19.89 meters. Nebraska softball senior two-way player Jordy Frahm was named to the top 25 list for USA Softball's Collegiate Player of the Year. Frahm was a top 3 finalist for the award last year and was a top 10 finalist in 2022 and 2023 at Oklahoma. Nebraska basketball added a significant piece to its backcourt with the signing of Utah Valley transfer Trevin Lenhart on Wednesday. A 6'5", 175-point guard from Kaysville, Utah, Lenhart was a 2-year starter at Utah Valley, leading the Wolverines to 50 wins and consecutive Western Athletic Conference regular season championships. In 3 seasons, he set Utah Valley's career record in steals and ranked 2nd in assists. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Pistons host the Magic as Orlando is up 3-1. Cavs face the Raptors with the series tied at 2 apiece, and the Lakers are looking to advance to the second round as they host the Rockets tonight. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Infield and outfield straight up. Plumlee comes set on Corks at 2-1. Fastball is drilled in the air. Deep left field. There it goes. See ya! First career home run for Jeter Worthley. Comes in a massive moment. It's 2-0 Big Red.
Horn kicks and fires the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on a nasty slider. And that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Ty Horn all business.
Now the 2-2 on the way. Frahm swings and drives this one to center. Bennett going back to the wall. It's gone! Home run, Jordy Frahm! A 3-run shot. 10-0 Nebraska. Jordy with a 2-2. Myers swings and misses. She's down on strikes. And Nebraska sweeps Iowa straight out of Bowling Stadium and punctuates it with a 13-0 Mercy Rule triumph.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. In case you forgot, I'm Jessica Coody with Kyle Crooks. Great stuff with the AD, Troy Dannon. It's always refreshing to hear from him, and covered a lot of ground there. And yeah, it's always great to get all of the updates from him in this hour here on Sports Nightly.
He's a busy man nowadays. In case you don't know that, you're seeing him a lot more. You're seeing a lot more of Courtney Gaucher. Capital Planning leads the charge. He's going to lead the charge for the Big Red rebuild and everything that's going on over the next handful of years, and get set for it to all open up, hopefully, with the timeline of fall of 2028. But it was great to dive more into what you heard at the press conference, what some of the questions that I feel a lot of fans have heading into this project about seats and reseating and all those things, the timeline, what it's going to be like perhaps in the 2027 season, when things are a little bit tougher, when you have to fight through some of the construction to get in the stadium. So it was great to chat with him, and certainly there's a lot more going on outside of just Big Red rebuild.
I was pretty surprised when we saw the original presentation, and as we've gone along, that really the biggest there's really only one season that the stadium's going to look really, really different. There might be some challenges is that one season, because the rest of the way, I mean, you're talking about being ready to roll in 2028.
Yeah, 2027, it'll be down to 65K capacity. So it'll look significantly different in 2027 because the south end will be the demolition will have begun on the south end. So it's going to look a lot different on television and certainly around the stadium. But there's also things that we talked about with Courtney about the phrase you hear a lot is deferred maintenance. And there's a lot of, this is a 100-plus-year-old structure. Right?
It needed it.
It
has to be done.
I think Courtney said there's a gas line that runs underneath the 50-yard line. And so there's certain things that will happen that they have a budget for when, I asked Courtney, the deferred maintenance, how much maybe are there certain things that you don't expect you'd find that would change the timeline or change the budget of something like this. But these are all things that they have factored in coming into this plan. And one thing that Troy wanted to reiterate is this is, for the most part, Nebraska contractors building something for other Nebraskans. So when you think ambitious timeline, well, these are companies that are built by Nebraskans that want to make sure they have something in time for one of the biggest entities in the state, and that's Nebraska football and just Nebraska athletics.
He said $1 billion economic impact for the state of Nebraska by building this project. Another thing that I found very interesting that he wasn't able to address in the press conference because it was before this was the concert over the weekend, and he talked about how much they learned and where the things they need to improve, because that's going to continue to happen. And again, the opportunity to build revenue and to capitalize on that. And look, we were part of some meetings on Monday, and we heard that there's basically all-day meetings talking about some of the things that they needed to address and learn moving forward. There's another concert here coming up this year, and so I know that there were some complaints on some things, and so they realized there were some inadequacies, and I think that was the word that Troy even used with your conversation. But the fact that they learned a lot over the weekend, and they're going to work quickly to try to address it before the next concert.
You think about the burden that this was on a lot of people, a lot of departments in athletics, especially, we were talking, this is really the first time that I guess ticketing is dealing with something that's kind of outside of athletics, right? So they had a pretty big burden when it came to this concert and just things of ways of communication when you have storms and things that you can't control. How do you get that message out to the public? There were a lot of people that were upset with things that weren't necessarily athletics responsibility or Zach Bryan responsibility, right? It's just thunderstorms. You can't be in the stadium when it's lightning outside. So that was the hard part about Saturday. But look, you have a massive learning experience for what the Savannah Bananas are going to be here. The boys of Oklahoma are going to be here. So you have still a couple of events that this is going to be a massive learning experience. But it was still, looking at the videos and what Troy talked about, the amount of tickets sold and the amount of tickets punched even after the delay, there were a lot of people inside Memorial Stadium, even with the concert starting really late.
I was one of those people.
Did you have fun? Did you enjoy Zach Bryan?
Yeah. I was one of the people, too, that was a little disappointed and did not get to see Kings of Leon. But, it was...
They were right out here, apparently.
Yeah. I should have come up to the office. Hey, I need something in my office.
Maybe you could have asked him for like an acoustic set or something. That probably would have went over well.
I wish. All right, switching gears, let's talk some sports. Big win for Husker baseball. Another walk-off win, the comeback cardiac kids, whatever you want to call them. But I just continue to be impressed with no matter what the situation is, boy, they still fight and they still have the confidence and they get it done.
Yeah, it was an interesting game last night because it was such a slow start from Kansas State. It's a team that's dealt with so many injuries to key players. And what was particularly interesting about last night is they threw their Friday night guy, who only threw just south of 70 pitches, 2 and change innings in his start. So they wanted to get him right. And Nebraska got off to a fast start. And the biggest storyline of them all, outside of another walk-off win, which was the 7th this year for Nebraska, was Jeter Worthley. He was 5 for 5, just absolutely incredible performance from him on the heels of getting his first career home run in Champaign, Illinois. Rhett Stokes comes up with the big hit, and that's his second walk-off hit this year. Joshua Overbeek, the big double in the 9th inning. Jay-Sean Unger has a big relief appearance. You get 4 innings out of Tucker Timmerman. So there's a lot of things that you could look at another late comeback victory for this team that never says die. And you look at the RPI now, believe last
Number
check.
13.
13. Warren Nolan, which is alive. They update theirs quicker, usually right after the games end. They were up to 11.
Wow.
So they have put themselves in a really good spot. These are the midweeks, Jess, right, where you say this team has struggled in the past, but Kansas State's a good team. They were hungry for a win. They just got swept against Kansas. So that was a big opportunity to, again, on your home field, where you're now 20-1 on your home field to continue to help your resume.
And we hear it from every coach. You got to protect the home court, the home field, all of the above. And they certainly have gotten that done this year. Do you feel like, though, now it might be a little bit like we've seen from softball here, a little bit up and down in the RPI?
Yeah, I mean, for Nebraska, what they have left, so Ohio State this weekend, Jess, they're, I think last check,
116 is what I saw.
Yeah, over 100 RPI. So even losing a game in that series is probably going to hurt. You have Iowa and Minnesota left after that. So, you have to win a heavy helping of those games that are left. But let's not, just like the Illinois series, a lot of people tend to panic when you lose one game in a series. You've said this, Ben has said this, it's a race to 40, right? So you've won 33 games, 33 or 34. I'm not looking at it right now, but you're getting closer to 40 wins. So if you want to get a number in your mind overall, get to 40 wins, continue to win 2 out of 3 every weekend. If you don't sweep, don't panic. If you could sweep as much as possible, great. But if you could just win the series that are ahead of you, find a way to continue to win 2 out of 3 every weekend. I know D1 baseball and the top 25 rankings, they're not gonna take away from your resume or what your ranking is if you still win a series, right? So just win 2 out of 3.
How about Jeter Worthley last night?
Yeah, 5 for 5. We knew coming into this season what his potential was. He's a former quarterback at Lincoln East. He's an incredible athlete, has a great head on his shoulders, very mature for his age. And he got off to a slow start this year. I think it was the first 12 or so games. He was hitting sub 200. And then I've been keeping track his last 31 games, so just over 30 games. He's been hitting 354 since that point. His average in those last 30 or so games went up 30 points last night after a 5 for 5. And so he's been great. And, hopefully the slug is part of his game moving forward, but that's not really what you necessarily need from him. You need a high on-base percentage player in that 2-hole, and that's what you got. He's reached safely in 31 consecutive games. It's really darn good for a freshman catcher who his biggest responsibility is to be a plus defender, and that's what he is.
They've got some pretty special freshmen.
Yeah, Drew Grigo, another guy, too, that outside of Jeter that has made such an incredible impact on this team. Local guy from Papillion, and just the consistency. So he's had 35 RBI this year. He's going up the list of most RBI in a single season for a true freshman. So he's 2 away from tying Pat Kelly about 14 years ago in his true freshman year. But I don't necessarily know, and I think they knew he'd be really good. I don't necessarily know they thought Drew Grigo would be this good. And what's interesting about his story, he's a high school shortstop who spent most of his preseason taking reps short. They had a need for a corner outfielder to get somebody there, one that could play the position defensively, but that can be consistent offensively. And the fact that he stepped into a new position, has been really good defensively, and has done what he's done offensively, has been an absolute plus.
Well, Nick Hanley had a chance to catch up with Jeter after his big performance in the big win last night.
We're talking to freshman Jeter Worthley, fresh off a 5-hit performance, and more importantly, Jeter, a walk-off win against Kansas State. You guys continue to roll here at Haymarket Park. Let's just talk about this game first and foremost against Kansas State. And you've been on one here, seeing the ball very well, but what's clicking for you right now, especially in this game against Kansas State?
Just going up there with confidence and, looking to do damage. I've had a lot of talks with Coach Bolt and Coach Sirianni throughout the year, just, making adjustments with my swing, my mentality, and today I just, put it all together and, seeing the ball well and just, like I said, going up there looking to do damage.
We've seen guys really try to go at you on the inner half of the strike zone. That was something I'm sure you saw even early this season. Is that kind of the adjustments you're talking about, and what are you kind of seeing just to sort of overcome that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an adjustment I've had to make throughout the season. Like you said, I was getting inside fastballs, for a pretty long stretch, and just felt like I wasn't able to get my barrel to it. So, we did a lot of work, this last week, the week prior, and just, feeling like you're, on time, feeling like you're getting the barrel head out. And like I said, just, going up there with the mentality that I wasn't going to get beat inside has really helped me the last, couple of weeks. So.
What's it been like as a freshman experience in this? You guys have won in so many different fashions, whether it's a 10-run rule, mercy rule job, walk-offs like this, or, you're in like those series against USC where you guys are having to kind of scratch and claw your way back, and just so many different ways, yet it just seems like between you and Grigo and the other freshmen to the seniors, that mentality doesn't change, very even keel. Has that always kind of been a part of the way you approach the game?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little bit of an adjustment, just going from the beginning of the year to now. But, the older guys have done so many, good things for, me and Drew and a couple of the other freshmen to, just adjust and, get a feel for the game, slow the game down for us. And, just kind of deep into the season now, it's just, natural. And, we're all feeling good out there. We're all confident out there. And like I said, we are got to give a lot of thanks to the older guys for just, helping us all out, slow the game down. And like I said, just, get us a better feel for it.
What's it about this place here? 20 wins and just one loss here at Haymarket Park. And you've grown up in this area. You know what it's about. But what is it about this place when you guys get on this field and just play some incredible baseball?
It's just so special. We're playing for something bigger than ourselves. We're playing for the fans. We're playing for each other, most importantly. And, the fans do a great job coming out here and bringing energy. And it's really a family. Everybody comes out here and, supports us. In the dugout, we always bring energy. And, like you said, it's so tough to play here because, we have the mentality that, this is our house and we're not going to get beat here. So it's a special place.
Speaking of family, I know this has been kind of a really cool situation where you've been on the receiving end of Jalen and how he has really come back to form this year too. But it's just, I know for a lot of fans, but especially for the staff, just getting to see you guys essentially play catch here on the big stage. What's that like on a personal level?
It's special. It just reminds me of times in the backyard whenever we were, 8 and 5 years old, just playing catch, playing wiffle ball. So, it's been a dream come true for me to be able to come out here and play in my hometown with him. And it's just, it's so special. I can't even say, enough good things about it.
Lastly, I got to ask you, first career home run. I remember saying to you on the bus afterwards, I said, we've been talking about it for the last 4 weeks. And you said, funny, I've been talking about it the last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be opposite field at this ballpark. You end up pulling just an absolute rocket over the left field in Champaign. Tell me about the pitch. And did you have your feet the entire way going around each base?
It was an up and in fastball. So, like I said, I've been, doing a lot of work on that to, get the barrel head out. So, but, the trot, I'll tell you what, I took my time around the base just to admire it. It finally happened. And I'm just so blessed, be able to be in that position. But, actually funny about that too. My shoe was untied, so I was trying not to trip. But yeah, it was a special moment for me.
One of many more to come, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Great stuff there from Nick and Jeter. Nick's been really good about, both of them have, but we've added to their plates this year with the social stuff, and we just hand them the mic and say, go.
And they're good at that.
Yeah.
They're very flexible. Esteban was there last night as part of our social efforts. You got a nice little video of Ben for the walk-off, and he was the one who filmed that last night with Jeter. And Jeter's a really good interview, too. That's something that's rare for a true freshman.
Yeah.
They do when you're a star player and you're a D1 recruit, you're doing some interviews in high school, but he's really polished for a true freshman young guy.
Well, Jeter was a finalist for one of the newcomers of the year for the male newcomer of the year category. So I was out there on Monday. So we haven't had a chance to talk to you since Monday, but I got a chance to catch up with some of the award winners, which are some big time names. So we're going to talk to or let you hear some of the conversations I was able to have on Monday night coming up next here on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 GOAT modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer today.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraska Lottery.
Do you have a new lotto game called Nebraska Pick 4?
Yes, sir. It costs just $1 to play. There's a $6,000 top prize with drawings every day, and you can choose from 6 different bet types.
Kind of like Nebraska Pick 3 with a bigger jackpot and more bet options?
Yes, sir. Any other questions I can answer?
Yeah, I misplaced my phone. Do you know where it is?
You're using it.
Ah, so I am. You lottery people know everything.
Straight bet top prize odds 1 in 10,000.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. Direct TV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 goat modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer today.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, where it's mower season. Get 0% financing, professional setup, and local support you can't get at the big box store. Only at Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. I know Troy talked about this with you on in the first hour on the AD show, but It was a really, really cool night on Monday night. There was a surprise appearance by Kevin. Talked about the training table. He said he's getting a lot of compliments from the student athletes. But it was overall the presentation of all of it. By the way, did I get a ding there? I got the training table mentioned in.
Did we have the ding going on there? All right.
No, that's all right, Camden. But hey, I got the training table mentioned in for today. But it was just overall a great production and really cool to kind of just see the efforts of celebrating the student athletes. And look, there was a great turnout, and you could tell how much it means to the student athletes.
Yeah, it's really cool event. I think I turned it on, and I saw the band was playing at the beginning.
The drum line.
The drum line was playing at the beginning, but it was a packed house, and it's very rare outside of the training table, right, that a lot of these athletes get a chance to be in the same place at once. So I think for them, it's really cool. One, it's an excuse to dress up, right, for all the players. I think they like that. There's a red carpet involved in it, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
And
they have like some hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
And some.
Is it like pigs in a blanket, or are we talking like,
it was like
caviar?
There was a couple different stations, but the one I saw was like loaded nachos.
Oh, I missed out then.
Yeah.
I should have showed up.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a really cool event. And again, we've talked about this, but lots of really, really great talent here on campus. And Braden Frager was the one that took home the Newcomer of the Year, the Male Newcomer of the Year award. And I had a chance to chat with him after he won the award. Here with the Male Rookie Athlete of the Year, Braden Frager, here at the Night of the Lead. Well, how special was it to hear your name called for this award tonight?
I mean, I'm super blessed, obviously. Like I said out there, I'm just super blessed to have this opportunity to go out here and just compete. And I mean, shout out to my teammates, shout out to coaches for even putting me in a situation to be where I am.
What was it like giving a speech out there in front of all those folks?
I was a little nervous first time. I mean, I've done a lot of speaking, but I never in front of a crowd like that. So it was a little nerve-wracking for first.
You know, what prepared you to have this kind of breakout season that you did? You know, being that you kind of waited your time, that's been documented, but to be able to come out and have as big of an impact that you did.
I think just the confidence in my game. I mean, I spent my whole redshirt year just looking, seeing everything what it was like. Spent that whole summer working hard, and I just came out here. I had the confidence in myself, just like I always have, and I just go out and did what I did.
What did it mean to you to be able to provide the role that you did for a team to get to a Sweet 16?
I mean, I'm super blessed. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have been done possible without my teammates and the coaches for putting us in that situation. But I mean, we all got along. We all loved each other. I think that's what was the biggest reason for our success this year.
How do you build on what you did this year? You know, going into next year, you signed to come back next year. How do you build on this and be even better next year?
I mean, we've got some great pieces coming back. I mean, I feel like a lot of people didn't see with Connor last year. We got me and Price coming back. We got Kale coming back. So we got some good pieces coming back. And I think coaches did a really good job putting us in a situation to where we could get some new teammates, because we lost a couple in this past couple weeks. So just getting those new teammates and getting everything going again. We got to build off that year. And now it's kind of like we kind of set the standard. It wasn't getting that first tournament win. Now it's getting to that Elite Eight, Final Four, and national championship hopefully one day.
Love it. How cool is it to win this award with a fellow Nebraskan and Alexis Jensen?
I mean, I'm super grateful. I mean, it's crazy how much support that the Husker fans have showed. I mean, it goes to show the athletes we have in the state.
Congratulations. Appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.
Well, it's the first time I've been able to chat with him since the season ended, but you're going to kind of see a theme, how much these awards mean to these players. And I think especially a lot of them are from Nebraska. I mean, Alexis won the Female Newcomer of the Year, Jordy, and then Braden. There's a lot of Nebraska talent, and you can tell how much these awards mean to these athletes. But you know, you talked about how excited he is about the group. He said, we lost some important pieces, but we've got a good core coming back. And you can tell, I mean, when he signed and just what he was able to do last year, just, you know, a little bit that I talked with him there. And then before the camera started rolling, he's ready to attack this building off of last season.
Yeah, I'm sure he's feeling the love from Husker Nation when the news came out that he re-signed with the team, because we know how important he is, Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year. And to win that award, like you said, there's a passion for this place that Braden Frager has, and specific to a lot of athletes. You know, I could think baseball specifically, softball. There's a lot of players that grew up with the love of the Huskers, which I'm sure was the case with Braden Frager being a local guy. So I'm sure that night meant a lot to him, and a really cool honor, and what was an outstanding season for him individually.
Well, a couple of those pieces, Trevin Linhart and Bowden Kapke. We've all known that they've been here, that they have committed, but they officially signed those releases coming out here over the last couple of days. So they have officially become Huskers as, again, whenever they get here, they'll hit the court and be able to practice throughout the summer. All right, let's talk some softball now. Jordy Frahm won the Female Athlete of the Year, or the Female Player of the Year, and that was an impressive group of female players that were up for that award, but she takes home the Female Player of the Year, and I got a chance to chat with her after that. All right, here with the Female Athlete of the Year, Jordy Frahm. Well, you've won a lot of different awards. What does this one mean to you?
This one is really special. Just the group of nominees are incredible. I was not expecting that. So it's special, it's humbling, and just very excited for Lex too, and happy to win it with her.
Just celebrated your senior day and your speech. You gave a lot of kudos to this athletic department. What has it meant for you to finish out your career here?
Well, just I guess getting to experience a couple different athletic departments. This is just incredible, the support that they have here, all the different roles that they have, people here to serve all these different purposes that I didn't even know existed. But it's just a very selfless athletic department that really does everything they can to better the experience of the student athletes.
You've had a pretty fun season as well. You mentioned that, and I know you got a long way to go, hopefully, but you've really enjoyed this last season, right?
Yes, absolutely. We just have so much fun as a team. So many different personalities, but there's never a day that you show up and you're not happy to be there, and that is seriously all because of the love we have for one another. And it is very energizing, and it's a long season, and so with those relationships that are super energizing, it feels super short and fun, and we're just all free.
Softball swept the awards here with the Female Rookie of the Year. How about Alexis Jensen? How proud are you of her season, and how big has she been for you guys?
So proud of her. She just came in, and not for 1 second has she played like a freshman, and she's just bold out there. She's courageous. She's a competitor, and she gives us everything she has every single time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, and not surprisingly, not only did she win that award, but as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, she's going to be on a lot of awards lists, and just today named a top 25 finalist for the Collegiate Player of the Year award. And a week ago, Alexis Jensen was named top 25 Freshman of the Year. So for
two of those things, the least surprising things.
I know, right? Right? Yeah.
Especially Jordy for national, but Alexis, I think it could be on the same level. Alexis for top 25 freshman. She'll be in the next voting. They usually cut that down to about, I think, 15 or 10, and then they go to 5 and then to 3, and then they pick a winner. So I think Jordy's a shoo-in to be a finalist. Those award ceremonies are in Oklahoma City, I believe, at least for National Player of the Year. So hopefully she's there playing and accepting an award.
You know, it's pretty funny because, again, Alexis won the Newcomer of the Year on the female side of things, and she was backstage waiting on Jordy, and when I talked to her, she's like, I blacked out. I didn't know. She's like, had no idea that she was going to win that award. And you think a year ago she was a senior in high school, and she was waiting for Jordy, and it was just such a neat reaction between the two of them. They have such a really cool bond, and they're big on just talking about the paths and the God-given circumstances and all of that. And think about if Jordy didn't get hurt, they would have never had a chance to play together here at Nebraska. And it's just they've been so important to each other. And to see how they react with each other off the softball field, it was really neat. And, Alexis was saying she blacked out at that time. And Jordy was saying, no, your speech was great. Everything was perfect. And then they took photos, and Coach Revelle was there. And it was just such a neat moment to get to witness there backstage.
Just think of this season for those two. They're a huge part of course, of what this softball team's doing, and one of the best teams in the country. But the compare and contrast, the young and old, if you will, of Jordy, who's been through it all, has won national championships, and now Alexis potentially playing from the mold. I'm sure growing up watching Jordy Frahm, playing from the two-way player mold, right, that Jordy's excelled at a high level, and Alexis is quite literally learning and playing and best friends with one of the best to do what she does and wants to excel at.
And also, this was also brought up in the show with Troy, but, Rhonda, Revelle, and getting her name on the field, he said if we would have asked her, if we wouldn't have made it a surprise, she would have said absolutely not. And she talks a lot about Barbara Hebner and having the stadium named after her, that it had to happen. later, and because she would have never been okay with it. And so, taken from one of her mentors. But she is so positive. Like I was actually talking with her last night. She went on Damon's show and gave him a hard time about, can you keep Jessica Coody in check? And so she messaged me that. And I was like, no, listen, I'm the one that has to keep all these boys in check. And she was like, no, you're absolutely right. But, she's so positive. I always enjoy getting a text from her. And as we said multiple times on the show, no one more deserving of her. And she absolutely would have said, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think it's better that way, though. So it came up in the Board of Regents meeting that the stadium was up for a vote. The Board of Regents wanted to make sure they did something to honor Rhonda. I think the surprise of it all is what makes it, right, is that she didn't know. And they would have done it on Sunday, not to take away from the senior day, but they didn't have a game on Sunday, so they had to do it this way. President Gold being there, Troy being there, I think it was just the perfect set of circumstances after polishing off another sweep against a rival.
All right, got to get to a break. More of Sports Nightly coming up next.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. All right, got one more conversation I was able to have at Night at the Lead on Monday night, and this one from track and field, Axelina Johansson. She was another one of the nominees for Female Athlete of the Year with Jordy. And you want to talk about another one of the really highly decorated female athletes here on campus. But I feel like her words and what she says about Nebraska should be, it's like a perfect picture frame if you want to sell this place for somebody that's not even just from out of this state, but out of this country. So wanted to play that conversation for you here tonight. All right, here with the Female Student Athlete of the Year, Axelina Johansson. You have won so many awards, so many accolades over your 4 years since you've been here at Nebraska. What does this one mean to you?
Wow, it means a lot. You know, it's the student athlete who excels both academic, athletic, and also like with services, you know, volunteering. So, you know, being the best one at the school feels incredible, and I'm so honored, and I'm just so happy.
Yeah, being that you are the best at your sport and then managing all of that, the academics and giving back to the community, how have you done it, and why was it so important to you?
You know, I have so many people around me that helps me, so that definitely made it easier. You know, we have a super busy schedule, but I do think it's important to give back to the community, you know. I get DMs every day from girls that look up to me and they want to start throw the shot put. So I want to be a good role model and yeah, just inspire the younger generation to, you know, come to Nebraska and yeah, show them what it's all about.
I love that. I love that. What has it meant to you? You come all the way from Sweden. What has it meant to you to be a Nebraska Cornhusker and have your career here at Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, moving to Nebraska is the best decision I've ever made. You know, I've developed so much as a person. I've learned to speak English. You know, my native language is Swedish. You can probably hear an accent. But yeah, I just developed so much as a person. I met so many amazing people and just grown so much as an athlete as well. You know, learn how to compete and how to, you know, just be a leader. So coming to Nebraska has been amazing, and I would recommend it to anyone who's thinking about coming to go college.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Oh, what just a treat to get to chat with her. And just, again, you can just feel the gratitude that she has for Nebraska. But you got an opportunity coming up to get to see Axelina and the track and field teams compete here at home coming up soon.
Yeah, and also the Big Ten track championships are going to be here May 15th through the 17th at the brand new outdoor track and field facility. We had a chance to head to the dedication last week, but tickets have been on sale for the last couple weeks. Single session tickets are still on sale. They've been on sale for a week, so make sure that there's a link on Huskers.com that you can go to make sure that you secure your tickets. So single session, all types of tickets are available on Huskers.com.
All right, switching gears here really quickly because, again, there's not much really we can talk about, but I know it's kind of been a hot ticket item here as we get closer to hopefully the end of the arbitration. And Troy can't really talk about it because, again, it's in the process of trying to get settled. But the hearing yesterday, there was no ruling, but according to the settlement terms, this has to happen really in 5 more days. That they are supposed to make a ruling here in 5 more days.
I think some people thought there would be a ruling yesterday. Yesterday was just the arbitration hearing. So, of course, the athletics attorneys and The NIL staff, they're going through that with CSC and expect it in the next handful of days what the decision is. And like you said, Troy can't really comment on it because anything he says can be used in arbitration, right? So you want to just make sure you're taking care of things. And this is a landmark decision, right? This is a way that athletic departments are going to want to utilize their NIL by going through third-party their rights holder to go and get third-party NIL deals, in this case, Play Fly Sports. So a lot of athletic departments are watching this very eagerly to see how this...
And they're hoping that Nebraska gets it done so they don't have to go through the process themselves.
Yeah, so Nebraska, and what Troy always says, we want to be the pioneers, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's the stadium, whether it's way back when, strength and conditioning, nutrition, all that, it's another thing you can add to the list. And this is very pivotal. And I would expect if there is a rejection of those deals to those football players specifically, that there probably would be a next step in litigation. It probably wouldn't be the end of us hearing about this.
But I think we'll know at least some news potentially by the end of this week.
Yeah, probably
One
by
way or
Friday.
another.
Probably by Friday, the weekend, some point. So.
Whether it's done or it's going to be extended.
Yeah. Salute Jonathan Bateman. He's a hard worker, man. He's going through a lot.
Definitely is. The best of the best. All right. Got to get to another break. We are back to wrap up the show next.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Wednesday night edition. You are hitting the road again this week. You'll be with Ben.
Yeah, me and Ben on the road.
Yep.
And it's going to be an early wake-up call tomorrow. We're busting to the Omaha airport. So
You're not as stressed.
Not as stressed because it's happened once, but anything can happen. So I'm going to be fully engaged when I walk up to that TSA counter that something will go wrong. Hopefully that's not the case, but hopefully we're on a plane to Columbus. They'll work out there. It's going to be cold this weekend. You're talking probably going to be playing in 40-degree weather, mid-50s, and I'm not happy about that because we're getting set to turn the calendar here to May.
Do you need some of my hand warmers? I'm kind of an expert at being out in the elements.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I know Ben brought them once. I forget what trip that was, but he was smart I might steal them from you.
I got plenty. I'm always prepared for that. I learned that quickly once I started getting out there on the sidelines. Are you guys going to get Ben to do the horse sound?
So Nick did it last night, right, Camden? And I was a little disappointed in Ben because it usually lands on the number one guy who does the main innings, leads off the broadcast, just the way it sort of situates itself. But Ben didn't do it last night. He was a little disgusted, I think, by our antics. He's like, I guess the clowns are running the show, essentially, at this point. But that will be probably number one on the priority, along with getting connected to the studio, is letting Ben know that he has to.
We'll see if you're going to get it accomplished.
I think I will. Now, I think we're in an enclosed space in the writers area at Ohio State. So just like Illinois, everyone's going to hear a horse.
I mean, we kind of had a ongoing joke in the meeting the other day that Nick's in the lead for the best horse sound.
He is.
Maybe if you make it a competition with Ben, he might go easier.
I think Nick, so Camden's the reason that we're doing this. Again, it is not part of the read. It's not part of the read. Jason Rathie, our boss, in our meeting said he heard Nick do it, and he was saying, well, maybe we can talk to the sponsor about maybe you guys don't have to do the horse sound. And I said, Jason, hold on a second. We're just doing this on our own because we're idiots. The sponsor's not asking, the Nebraska Lottery's not asking us to do that. We're doing this on our own because we're giving sponsors and advertisers a bang for their buck.
Because the 4 was such a hit. Even when I was traveling with the men's basketball, Kent and Jeff loved it too.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So 4. And I got to work on so I did the gums too, along with my horse. I had to at the end of it. So Chris, one of our great interns, he chopped up all of the horse sounds. Maybe at some point we'll play them all and we'll see who had the best one. Because Ben has to be added to the pot.
We should play that game here on Sports Nightly and see if people can pick the best one or who's who or something like that.
I think clearly Nick's the best one. I mean, Duke did it. Duke's done it twice. So everybody's all in. So that was Duke. Was that Duke? Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. We're a fun group. We're a cool group.
You guys sometimes get off the rails a little bit, but that's enjoyable. That's what makes fun radio. All right, so just got a little bit here left. So you're going to be gone. So you're going to join us, though, hopefully, from Columbus. And then you're also going to get Ben to make an appearance here tomorrow night. So we'll look forward to that. I'm also going to talk some softball with Nate Rohr. You can never get enough of Nate, obviously.
You two can just take the 2 hours on your own.
And then we'll have Nate, we'll have Ben, and also I had a chance to catch up with Lindsey Peterson on the dig. So we'll play you a portion of that. I think I covered it all. Everything you possibly want to know about Nebraska volleyball, I think I asked her about it. So play a portion of that. So it should be a fun show coming up tomorrow, full 2 hours of Sports Nightly. We'll get you set for the weekend of Husker Sports. And safe travels to Kyle. Hopefully your ID works tomorrow.
Yeah, if not, then I guess we're driving to Columbus, right? Jess is driving.
All right. Thanks to Camden for making this go tonight. For Kyle Crooks, I'm Jessica Coody. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For more than 50 years, Woodhouse has been proud to serve our communities. We're more than a dealership. We're your neighbor, your partner, and your trusted name in automotive. Generations of drivers have counted on Woodhouse for honesty, transparency, and a hassle-free experience. Every deal starts at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then we apply discounts and rebates to get you to your true price. No gimmicks, no surprises. Shop local, shop trusted at woodhouse.com. Hassle-free all the way to your driveway. That's Woodhouse.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
With the Ford Bronco Sport, confidence comes standard. 4x4 performance and 5 GOAT modes goes over any type of terrain standard. Plus, it comes with a massive 13.2-inch center display. If you value this kind of standard capability, look no further than Bronco Sport. After all, confidence shouldn't be an upgrade. Right now, get $4,000 cash back on a 2025 Bronco Sport. Get to your Midwest Ford dealer